straight from the automotive industry event of the year, NADA 2025. Chicks in Charge and Authenticom are bringing you the biggest names in automotive. From industry disruptors to game-changing innovators, we're getting the inside scoop on what's next for the auto world. This is where leaders talk and the future takes shape. Are you ready? Buckle up and let's dive in.
Welcome back to another NADA episode of Chicks in Charge. We are here in Authenticom's booth with one of the coolest guys I think I've ever met. This is Matthew Davis of TradePending. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you.
I have been a massive, and I don't keep a secret at all, a massive fan of TradePending since I learned about them. It's probably been 3-4 years now. One of your guys, David Lowitz, was working on a dealership that I had BDC for and gave me a call one day, and he's like, hey, you guys aren't taking advantage of all of our products, and we need to talk about this, and gave me like full demo, and I'm like,
right.
How did I not know any of this?
Sounds right.
I need to know more. And the products you guys offer, I mean, I don't understand why every dealership in America is not using you guys. You are innovative, you're thinking forward. You guys, over the past couple of years, have made some really big acquisitions and added a lot to your portfolio. What kind of led you guys down that path?
Where to start on that one? So we started in 2014 with just a trade-in tool, and when we did that, everyone's like, "Are you kidding me?
Another
the world
trade
does
tool?
not need another trade-in tool." Like Bryce, our CEO, people were literally like saying, "Like this is the worst idea ever." So fortunately, he proved them wrong.
Mm-hmm.
We only had really one product for a couple of years, and had an API after that. Then launched a product for merchandising vehicles called Badges. So we really just kind of focused on growing that product set and actually starting to really fine-tune the go-to-market engine, the sales team, the marketing team, and then adding on new products. And we acquired Auto APR,
Huge move.
which is awesome. This fits right in perfectly with website conversion, one of our kind of core things that we do. Acquired Snapcell and Fixed Ops Digital. And so we've been integrating all those companies. And so when you do a lot of integration, there's not as much time for innovation.
Right.
So the work is so necessary. It's kind of, you get a lot of benefits. It's like the whole 1 + 1 = 3 kind of thing.
Exactly.
But ultimately, it's not that exciting for the market to be able to say, hey, now you don't have to log into 8 dashboards. You can log into 1. That's, for a marketing guy, like that's not that great of a story to tell. It's a great user experience. And so coming up into the show here, we made a big push to do a lot of innovation, and certainly talk as much as I can about that before you shut me off.
You can talk about whatever you want. I have to ask, though, you guys have been competing in a space with a massive name. When people think trades, it used to be they thought Kelley Blue Book.
100%.
And it's really hard, I would imagine, to be in that competitive space with them. But you guys have really held your own, and even, I would say, probably come out on top.
Yeah, for many of the OEMs today, we're actually the number one trading provider on dealers' websites. Nothing but respect for that company and for that team over there. They're great.
Yeah.
And we frequently hear dealers come out and say, yeah, like, I might like to work with you guys, but, people like the brand name of KBB, and, okay, there's some truth to that. You can't deny that.
Right.
But would you rather have the brand name, or would you rather have double or triple the amount of opportunities coming through your website?
Right.
Take your pick, right? And there's also the issue when somebody gets a KBB number, dealers cannot control that. So if they get that number, the person comes in, that's nowhere what the dealer can offer, either on the upside or the downside. Well, then now they don't trust the dealer because they're the most trusted name. The KBB's the most trusted name, so they trust that number, and they're thinking the dealer's trying to rip them off.
Yeah.
So there's that friction there. So it's certainly an argument an objection that we can overcome pretty well. But man, they're a great competitor.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's a good driver, too, to have somebody, another monster in the space that you've got to compete with and stay level with and make sure that your technology matches theirs or is better. And it's a good driver for your team and to always want to be the best.
I'm not even sure they know who we are still.
They have to. There is no way they don't.
Yeah.
You guys are doing amazing work out there. Last year, I'm still, my brain's in 2024. 2023, you guys announced 2 big mergers. You mentioned Snapcell and Fixed Ops Digital. Moving into the Fixed Ops side, was that a big obviously it was a big decision, but what led to making that move into Fixed Ops and wanting to work with, what Owen had created over there?
Yeah, so there's a couple ways to answer this, and so I'll try to remember the question to stay on topic. So from a strategic perspective, right, we've been in the variable ops side forever, but we knew there was this opportunity on the other side, and we needed a good entry point to do that. And with Fixed Ops Digital, it's a way to do that But ultimately, we're still selling to the same type of person in the dealership. It's
Right.
the GM or the marketing manager. The service manager is definitely much an influencer in this process. But it allowed us to start to work our way into the door with that, work our way in the door for that.
Yeah.
And the other side of it is, which is just the reality that we live in, we partnered with Cap Street, private equity company, back in 2020. And the charge there is like, hey, keep growing organically, keep growing through acquisitions. And we saw what Owen and his team had built. Like, man, that is a great product. And so we wanted to put some capital behind that and really get forward.
Yeah, and it's, I mean, Fixed Ops Digital has been, I mean, a great product. I made a post the other day. Owen was one of the very first people I ever met at an automotive conference, and like, he's hard to miss. He's a giant, and
It's a
so
gentle giant.
very,
Gentle.
very. Unless you get to hating on the Vikings, don't do that. But he was one of the very first people. I want to say it was 2016. Maybe 2015, we met him at an event and just kind of became really quick friends with him and got to learn more about what he was offering. And when I heard about that, that was such a smart move. I mean, you guys being able to move into that, but with like really one of the best fixed ops vendors out there, and it's such a great tool to be able to offer your dealers. It's
a no-brainer.
Yeah.
So it's surprising. It's hard to keep service offers up to date on a website, not only for one website, but if you're managing multiple, and then
Right.
syncing those across the marketing channels. And what we wanted to juice that even further. And so that was one of the big focuses for this show, was adding in something called Value Watch. If you've seen the ad for Carvana's value tracker with like Kristen Bell,
Yep,
Kristen Bell,
Jack
and,
Shepherd.
right? You know what Value Watch is.
Yeah.
It's monthly emails to consumers,
Old.
text, right? It's like tracking the value over time. And Carvana, we're piggybacking on their marketing budget because they're raising their brand awareness for that. But what they don't do is service.
Right.
So we can take that monthly email or text to customers saying, here's how your value's tracking over time. By the way, here's our service offers. So boom, you like somebody's going to own a car for 7 to 10 years, and Carvana's going to hit them over the head 1,000 times. CarMax, Jiffy Lube,
Plus all the competing dealers.
they're all going to try to lure them away. So
Yeah.
if you have an automated way to stay in touch with your customers over the lifetime of ownership of their car, and it's something of value that they want,
Yeah.
not just like, hey, here's our specials. It's like, hey, here's the value of your car. Like, that's a huge one. It's the only one right now. It's the only product out there that is for retail dealers.
That's awesome.
Super cool. So we smashed that together with Value Watch for service offers. So now that product is just, it's on fire.
Yeah, well, I mean, God, you guys are already like the perfect product for dealers, anyways. What would you say is like the number one issue that you see that dealers have that they finally reach their hands and they're like, okay, I need trade pending in my life?
Sometimes they're not aware that they have an issue. And that's typical of any industry, any company,
Yeah.
right? So if you've got a digital retailing tool on your site, and that's what you're using to convert your website traffic into leads, right? You don't even know you have a problem, right? So that might convert 1 out of every 40 people, right?
Yeah.
And you get a lead from that. If you put on the payments product, it's a payment calculator on steroids. Like
Yep.
your conversion rate, your full completion rate's going up to 40 to 60% versus 5 to 10%. So you're
Yep.
doubling and tripling the volume there. So a lot of what we do is education on that. And we're not saying don't get rid of your DRT. Like, you need that. There are people who want to go on and like technically start the process
Yeah.
buying a car online. But for everybody else, the 95% that don't, you need something to capture and convert them into power.
And that lead comes in, I mean, on the BDC side, you know, that's the aspect I get to work with you guys in. And on the BDC side, that lead comes in so incredibly hot. We have so much information, what their payment range is, how much they're putting down, what their trade is. I mean, that is the perfect lead. Honestly, on the BDC side, you get to have that conversation and all the work's done for you. You're just like, okay, well, are you coming today? Like, I'm ready for you. I got everything that I need from you. And that's so valuable when, you know, there's high turnover at BDCs. There's high turnover in sales departments when they're working internet leads. And so to have a tool that's always giving them consistently strong leads is so important.
Yeah, and to kind of tie it all back together, you talked about snap sell. So we hear stories all the time where dealers will say, yeah, hey, I came to you because your team sent me a video saying, introducing the person, you showed me the car. I drove past 3 other Honda dealerships that were closer because I knew I was going to be working with them. It looked like I was going to like them. Right, so you get all those leads, and what do you do with them, right? So you can send them a personalized video. The stats we saw, you know Durant Cage, right?
Oh, absolutely.
He published a study for us, and out of something like 40,000 emails, the ones that included a video set double the amount of sales appointments. Like, are you kidding me? That's that's as close to a silver bullet as you're going to get. So, and I wish I was better at answering your questions. You asked, like, what's kind of driving all this? It's, you think back to like TradePending's mission is simple automotive. All right, so what does that mean? It's like dealers have a ton of information on this side. Consumers want a ton of information, whether it's sales or service.
Yeah.
So we want to bridge that gap, and that's ultimately kind of why people jumping into fixed ops, right? With fixed ops digital and outside service ops. Like that's why 'cause we see all this information disparity. Both parties are fine to share it. They just need the mechanisms.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I saw whenever I was obviously we're in Authenticom's booth, and whenever I was checking out all of the vendors that they're partnered with, you guys are listed.
We are, sure.
What does that partnership look like, and how are they helping you guys in your operations?
Let me go get the product guys. I'm a marketing guy. They don't let me touch that stuff.
But you do great marketing too. Like I feel like I see your face all the time. You're always out in the street asking crazy questions
Right.
and doing a whole bunch of videos, which we know work. What kind of pushed you to start doing that? I don't see a lot of companies like really doing those videos like you're doing.
Yeah, I was fortunate to join TradePending. I've been here for 5 years, and the company already had a little bit of a tongue-in-cheek sense of humor.
Yeah.
So I just the same kind of style. So I took what Bryce and Joe Dallas had kind of built on, and my job is to expand that and grow that. At the same time, I also have to pay attention to what is happening in the world of marketing. And all the people I listen to are following, like, a lot of them are saying, like, do podcasts. And I like podcasts. I like listening to podcasts. I didn't feel like we had a space, us personally, to do a podcast and break through and make any news. So, all right, we're going to do really short form content, make it consumable.
Yeah.
And
our attention spans are so short.
right. And so if we're going to do it, then we need to do it in a way that is no one else is doing it, right? So there's so many great companies and peers and friends here, but for the most part, the marketing here is just a sea of boring sameness.
Yeah.
Right? And so my job is to lead the company on the marketing side, saying we are not going to be the same. We're going to look different. We're going to feel different. We're going to sound different. We're going to smell different, like whatever that means. So that way, people will pay attention to us. There'll be better brand recall, and we'll stick out.
And your guys' branding is so strong. I mean, I know almost anytime I see that color of orange on social media, I'm like, oh, it's TradePending post. Like you have a very, very solid branding plan, and I think in order to stand out, that's needed. And I mean, even for dealers, like it teaches them an important lesson. You know, once you get your marketing and your branding on point, people will recognize you before they even realize you're the one who posted.
That's right. There's only one more company here that's more orange than we are. So I do have to give respect to Stream and both Digital Airstrike.
I knew it was going to be Stream because, like,
mercy.
Man, and it's almost the same orange too. Like you guys are
pretty close.
Yeah, pretty close.
There's not a lot of colors you can play with, right? So we picked orange. Here we go.
Hey, it works. I mean, and it stands out among the crowd. It stands out in social media. And you guys are everywhere. I mean, I can't remember the last time I went to an event and you guys weren't there. So you guys are everywhere. I love it. You're doing great things in the industry. What would you say that you are really looking forward to in 2025 out of your team, your processes? What's going to be big for you, even your dealers?
Yeah, so 2024 was the year of integration, smashing all those companies together so that we're integrated on more things than just the invoice.
Yes.
Right. So when you do a lot of integrating, there's not a lot of time for innovating. And so 25 is the year where we start to reap some of the rewards of doing all that foundational technical work we can build upon now to launch stuff like Value Watch, to bring video into the trade-in process, but do it in a way that's completely different from everybody else, and to bring in partnerships like Real TV and all of that. So I think that's, for us, like we now have we got the foundation we can throw and build a lot of momentum on top of that from a product perspective. And oh my gosh, like my job is so much easier when you have like new things to talk about that are actually really cool and valuable. So that's where I'm excited.
Even if you don't, I mean, your guys' base product is honestly just amazing. You don't need all the new shiny stuff. I mean, that's amazing too. Like that's game changers. But I mean, really, you guys have a product that is just solid for the industry. It's been around for long enough that we know it's not going anywhere. And it's really changing the lives of dealers and putting the power back in their hands of getting the vehicles that they want to.
The best marketing is great product.
Yeah, exactly. You guys stumbled into something great. I mean, hard work, not stumbled.
I stumbled into it. That's fine.
What was your journey coming to TradePending? Like, how did you find them? How did they find you?
Well, my first job was weaving and selling baskets to my parents' friends when I was 10 years old.
Oh, okay. I was thinking this was an adult job.
No, we're going back. I worked at a plant nursery for a while. I worked at a pool company. I was a pool man for 3 years. I just started a window washing and pressure cleaning business. Sold that after 5 years. Did mortgages for a few years. Sold software for a decade. Went back to school. wife gave birth to twins, doing school full time, work full time. I don't recommend doing that.
No.
Then got into a startup doing mobile apps for TV stations. That started to flame out. We pivoted into a location data company. That was a ton of fun. I
Yeah.
love working with the company, but then when the Washington Post starts calling like, "Hey, why are you stealing people's data?" We were not stealing people's data. When the press starts beating down your door,
Yeah.
and you're a 10-person startup, like, this is not for me.
Yeah.
And so at that point, I knew Bryce, our CEO, and made the transition over to TradePending. I consulted with a few companies, and it's a lot of fun. TradePending got the rose, so that's how I ended up here in Automotive. And man, it's been so much fun
Yeah.
because the industry's super fun.
It
The
is.
people are fun as
Oh,
hell, and like I've never worked in a dealership, but I can identify.
There's a robot dog right there.
Get out! Oh, is it like one of those ones that are like attacking?
I don't know. You
It's
see
like a
it?
Boston Dynamic. That's amazing.
I'm sorry you guys didn't see it. There's literally just a robot dog in there. I couldn't not look away. I'm so sorry.
That's totally fine. But working with dealers and dealership employees, like they're hustlers, and
Yeah.
I identify with that.
Yeah. Well, and it shows in everything you do, in the way that you own the marketing, the way that you own promoting the company. It's 1,000%. What you said, you met with a couple of other people when you finally made the decision to go with TradePending. What was the decision? What went into the decision that this is the company for me? This is my people.
It was being able to see that I was going to be able to have control over the creative vision of the company. There was really no marketing at TradePending before I joined, so I got to shape it and build it from the start, and kind of grow my learnings throughout that as well, and also just the pace that the company moved at.
Yeah.
Quick, right?
Yeah.
Other companies are working at like I love the people I've worked with, but you're talking like 3 months to do something new. Like here, it's like 3 hours.
Yeah.
Like let's try that. See how it goes.
Yeah. So we've in the marketing world, we've had a little bit of exciting things happen lately with the give and take of TikTok and all of that stuff. What do you think we're looking at for marketing this year? We all know it's no secret at all. Social media is where it's at. What do you think we're looking at this year with people being a little bit more hesitant of TikTok and knowing it could go away at any second?
It's one of these things where it's like, to me, I'm trying to maintain a portfolio of brand awareness.
Right.
So social media is always going to be a part of that, but those are rented channels, right?
Yeah.
I don't own that audience. I'm renting it. They can take it away at any point. It's like it's all TikTok. TikTok's actually our strongest social media channel, believe it or not. So we've got that. So we'll continue to play there and put like a ton of effort behind it with all the video that we do. But obviously, growing our email list just as important, if not more important.
Yeah.
And we're pushing. We've always pushed into kind of traditional, like Clint, just mailing things out. Like we know where these people live, or we don't, but where they live.
Right.
So, what can we do to reach people where they are? Because as much as I love doing the social media stuff, there's probably 40, 50, 60% of our audience that is never going to see anything we do on social media.
Yeah.
So we got to reach them over.
That's true. That's a good way to put that. When you say that you always keep social media in your portfolio, what would you say is you said TikTok is your biggest one. Where do you see the most return on dealer interest? Like dealer sees your post, like, hey, I want a little bit more information about that.
That is, from a decision-making perspective, it's definitely LinkedIn.
LinkedIn.
TikTok is essentially our bottoms-up channel where we're really trying to reach the influencers at the dealership, the actual sales professionals that are there.
Smart. Do you think that's working a good return for you guys? I mean, it's free to post on TikTok.
It's one of these things where, like in marketing, you really want to be able to measure everything and attribute everything because, to some degree, you can. But we have ways of being able to track like where do people find out about us, and but ultimately, it's just a long, slow process to really build that, especially if you're a company. Like, nobody cares about B2B company.
Well, and that's why, like, the cool joking videos and the funny
Right.
stuff that you're doing, like, that's what keeps people interested. I mean, when the posts were pulling in my feed the highest, like, the top of the news feed, it was always those ones.
Right. So, we're also intentional about balancing the type of content that we push out. So we have the edutainment stuff, which is when I'm interviewing people on the street or in a dealership, sometimes those things relate to TradePending, sometimes they don't.
Yeah.
Right? It's just like we need that initial top level brand awareness that there's the logo, here we are. Then we move it down to other content, which is here's the soft sell, here's like look at this great case study, and here's a hard sell, like here's this product, and here's why it's so much better.
Yeah.
Right? So we try to balance that out too.
Yeah. So going into 2025, you guys are really working on innovating again. What events do you think you guys will be at, either sponsoring or attending?
Yeah, we keep this locked down pretty tight. I'm a stickler for making money.
Yeah.
So when we put marketing dollars behind the show, we either want to truly believe in the cause or we're expecting to make money on it.
Right.
So obviously NADA, we're here.
Yeah.
And then we'll put some focus behind Digital Dealer, certainly. We'll support Women in Automotive. We love going to the Kane show, now the NCM and Friends show.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll have other people attending a lot of different shows. But from the marketing perspective, those are the ones that we're intentional about putting on the.
For sure. That's exciting. I can't wait to see you guys at future events this year and see what else you guys cook up in your innovation department this year, because you guys, I mean, every move you make is just genius. So.
Oh, gee, I love it. I'm going to go tell the product team that they're a genius. They will love that. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you for coming on the show. Guys, keep tuned for the next episode we have coming. We're rolling them steady here at NADA, and make sure, check out everything TradePending is doing. I promise you, there is not a product that they offer that you don't need.
Everything.
So you need everything that they've got going on. Check it out. I've used it firsthand. I promise you, they're not paying me for this. You've never paid me $1. I'm telling you, as a person who has just used their product, like, it's worth it. Look into it. Call them. Get a demo. It's free. Have a great day. Bye.
This episode is brought to you by Authenticom, the business behind the automotive business. And this is Chicks in Charge Automotive Edition, available wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. Help us grow. Rate and review on Spotify and Apple Podcasts.